Get in, nerds. We're playing Victoria 3. We're out here trying to do our best to get the vote to the people. And today, I think this episode we're just going to do 2 years, maybe even only 1. But our ideal outcome is we're going to try to get a few checks on the Universal Suffrage bandwagon here, and we'll see if we can get this fully knocked out and done with, because I would truly, truly love to have universal suffrage. We're still in phase 1. We have no setbacks. We have a success chance of 57%, but we do have a revolutionary movement led by the landowners and the industrialists trying to make Sweden less democratic. And I think I'm actually going to respond to this by suppressing the power of the industrialists. I don't know how much this is going to actually affect things, but weakening them would be very, very good for us. Our current leader of the armed forces is a royalist. They only care about what type of government we have. They don't care about the franchise. So, about the distribution of power, about who can vote. So I think that's going to be good. This is really a time when I would like to have some kind of home affairs, but I don't have any home affairs, so that's just going to be kind of how things go. I've got a good buffer of bureaucracy, so we're trying to keep that all chill and relaxed. If this gets too rough, I am probably going to just bail, but I've got a really good chance here. And if we keep... Oh. Well, look at that. Look at that. The industrialists are happy, and I started to weaken them, and they stopped being able to be revolutionary. Oh. They went back. Well, okay, so this is going to go back and forth a bit. But I hope that I'll be able to keep them below their level of radicalism that they need to do this. And in the course of doing those things, I'll be able to get universal suffrage passed before everything goes haywire. Because I sure would not like to have a big revolution like we had last time. I got really close on the brinksmanship during the wars of the pencils in back in the 40s. No, we haven't had a civil war in a while, so I'm hoping things are more relaxed this time around. Ooh. Yes! Come on, join my movement. This guy said he was going to join the movement. Nils, you said you were going to... Yeah, here we go. Alright, so this is very good. So we have an agitator now. Sorry, I looked at the agitators and I was like, oh, this guy will go for a movement for universal suffrage. And so now that he's here, his popularity is very high. His popularity is huge, 140. So now our success chance is just enormous. So I'm hoping that we can get all this done and not have a revolution. That's my goal, my hope and my prayer. The Rebels Doctor. Okay, so we've seen this event before. I can radicalize a bunch of the academics in Western Norway, or a small percent of the academics everywhere. How many academics in Western Norway? By profession, 6.4 thousand. That's quite a few. I don't know, I have 2 arts academies here. Oh, that's okay. I have a lot of academics in all of Scandinavia, so I'm going to try to get that done. Okay, we got 86% with an 8.7% chance of an advance. So I'm really hoping this can get done. I might be able to get it all done in 1 year, or in the next 3 cycles. With chances like that, I might just make it. So I'm actually very pleased with this. I don't know how Finland got free, but I'm eyeing Finland so much. I need to stop. I need to stop thinking about conquests. Excellent. We've moved to drafting. We're still legitimate. Can't get fully legitimate, but this is going to change everything. So what this is going to do, in terms of our whole situation, it's going to really weaken the landowners and the industrialists, but it's going to really strengthen the rural folk and the trade unions. And the petit bourgeoisie are probably getting weaker and weaker as we speak because we did that free trade situation. So now all of our trade centers are privately owned. On the edge, the Church of Sweden, led by wily Simon Cederström, have threatened to join the revolutionary forces if their demands are not met. Although the concessions they demand are small, the power they wield, if we admit our weakness to them, shall be tremendous. We give them what they ask for, that gives them much stronger, or we give them nothing but cold steel and they'll join the insurrection. I'm going to give them what they ask for. I think it's okay to moderately increase the power of the Church of Sweden for now, with the understanding that later it will be much easier to get them to weaken them further. In any case, I'm not too concerned about it. You know, everything, there's a lot of give and take in this game. A lot of cap and trade. We've pretty well drained our investment pool, letting the private sector use all of our construction capacity. So I think it's time to get building stuff again. Meat is very cheap. Hey, let's sell some meat abroad. We got free trade now, so hopefully those will be more productive. Russia likes meat. Russia's going to get a lot of meat, and that's going to make our pastures more productive. What else is really cheap? Small arms. That's just fine. I'm not going to worry about arms. The arms industry, they're naturally going to employ more people anytime there's a war. A lot of wine from other countries and a lot of dyes. Can't do anything about coal. I can output more tools. And more iron. Yeah, I think it's going to be tools. The mob approaches. Belligerent crowds have been getting increasingly provocative when confronted by troops in Schleswig-Holstein. Hardliners in government are demanding tougher responses, while doves are calling for troops to stand down as the first hopeful step in de-escalation. A whiff of grape shot saved the day once, it could be done again, I'm telling you. We need to show strength right now. Strength? Ha! Bullets are an admission of weakness. We need to talk, show that we're not afraid. That's how we'll get them. Disperse the crowds by force, that gives us big radicalism there, but reduces civil war progress, maybe. Order the troops to stand down. Gives positive civil war progress, but potentially more loyalist pops. What's the population of Schleswig-Holstein? Pretty high. I'm gonna risk it. Risk it for the biscuit. We'll see if this goes up. Oh well, it happens. O City of Plenty. The most prominent members of Zealand high society have been organizing luxurious parties in the new and lavish urban buildings. Marble walls, shimmering stone, the noise of people coming and going brings the city back to life. And we didn't even know it was dead. Tall buildings cover the sunset. Kids play with bricks. Smoke blends in the crowds. A distant bell announces the next train. Progress is coming. I can let them celebrate. That gives them 10% more loyalists in the upper and middle strata. Or I can say the party will never end, which gives us 25% more loyalists. But we get +3 minimum expected standard of living for the upper strata. My upper strata's standard of living is double the minimum expected. So I'm going to go with this. And I'm going to bet that'll help things out. So when this next week turns around, we're going to see just how many people that that loyalized. Nice. So let's take a look at our upper stratum pops here. 920 for the aristocrats, 2.86 thousand for the capitalists. So I'm hoping that will not impact our stuff as well as I was really hoping. Although the landowners are feeling pretty happy. With the free trade opinion penalty from the landowners decaying, that might be enough to get this done with. The Zealand Workers' Brigades. Armed workers affiliated with the intelligentsia's progressive factions have volunteered to assist government forces in countering reactionary forces that would threaten Scandinavia. One by one they took up the gun, father and son, and lo, under a sky without a sun, another page of history comes as yet more blood runs. We need all the support we can get. This escalates the civil war, but it makes the intelligentsia much more powerful. State penalties from turmoil, intelligence... Oh, boy. Demand that this organization disarm at once. Makes the intelligentsia weaker. Advances the civil war. But... both of these advance the civil war. I think I gotta go with this one. Intelligentsia political strength is really strong. Intelligentsia are now powerful. Generally speaking, paramilitaries are not a great way to get things done politically, at least if you want to maintain peace and order. But in real life, like there's a text that talks about how to deal with fascist movements and radical and authoritarian movements, and maintain peace-oriented democratic states. And one of the big call-outs in it is to be wary of paramilitaries. But this is a game, so, we don't need to worry about that too much. We're on voting, friends. We're going to do it. We're going to get a freaking universal suffrage state. It's going to be the best. We got steel frame buildings. We're almost done with steel frame buildings. Heck, that's pretty rad. So next thing we'll queue up is mutual funds. That is going to make the... it's going to make the landowners finally finish with their nonsense. Oh, we got an election. Excellent. So if we get lucky... So... this will hit on May 11th of 62, and this actually will be 173 days on June 12th. Okay, so if we get lucky, we'll be able to have our new election with universal suffrage, and you'll be able to see how that'll change the political landscape. A process, the procession of provocations. Dissidents in Schleswig-Holstein have announced plans for a major march around government offices in the near future. While they profess peaceful intentions and claim everyone will be unarmed, the march itself will obviously serve as a rallying point for those unhappy with the government. That damn parade and that infernal music, I can't even see them from here, but I can hear them loud and clear. I can stop that march. Chances of some radicalization, or I can let the procession go onward. I'm going to let the procession go onward. So 5% of lower stratum pops get more radical. Or a small chance of 10% of pops get more radical. Small chance of 2% of pop. Oh, this is a difficult one. I think I'm gonna go with this one. We're gonna see how that changes things. We're 1.30 million right now. Radicals, I mean. I think it worked. Anyway. I got steel frame construction. So let's look at our steel market. But our steel mills are very low profit right now. Oh, no, they're not very profitable, but they are fully employed. Alright, so we're going to need to go slow with the changes to the construction industry. So, let's start with just the ones at the top. Just do a small change and see how that affects the steel market. Okay, steel market's doing okay. I'm going to queue up some more steel mills. The government can afford to spend some money on this. We're doing overall pretty well from an employment perspective. Let's go ahead and build up 2 more in Zealand, and we'll build 2 in Jutland. That's going to cost us a bunch of money, but that'll be fine. That'll be just fine. We've got a good reserve. We'll do a few more. We've got a good reserve. Oh, we're short on glass. Can't have that. Okay, so this last one, put it back down to iron frame. So, we're going to need some glass works. We've got some in northern Norway, but no unemployed pops there. So we'll put them in Schleswig-Holstein. And that'll hopefully let us do everything we want to do. We have a slight penalty to construction efficiency here on account of all the turmoil. So you're going to go down by 4.2%. The revolution progress is going to go down by 4.2% on this one when they get done, because the maximum radicalism is only 52. Vultures upon a carcass. Alright, well, we'll try to bring some back. We'll spend a little bureaucracy on that. We've seen that one before. That's just the one where you have to spend a little bureaucracy to get... neat. To get people from fleeing to not flee as much to the angry interest groups that are trying to revolt. So, Ironclad is an interesting technology. Basically oh, goodness. Basically what it does is it unlocks a much stronger production method for naval bases. But you kind of can't do it immediately because you also got to get all your ports and whatnot operating under the new production method before you do that. So we're going to put a pin in that for now. The good old days. When invited to give a speech on behalf of Høyre, Niels de Neergaard began extolling the virtues of a strong home, strong borders, and strong men. The public reception was mixed. Truly, I dare say, the men are no longer men. They are coddled with books, as if they are a substitute for real adventure. Their mothers swaddle them in cotton and silk, only for them to be henpecked by their wives, and heaven forbid they take a pint of beer, 1 sip, and they need their fathers to carry them home. Won't someone think of the children? This will be 20% momentum. Old ways for older times, and even older fools. Alright, I'm going to do something really silly. I am going to do this, but Niels de Neergaard is a very important character in the movement to go to universal suffrage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait until this check finishes, and then I'm going to hit this button, because I don't want to reduce his popularity yet. And we're pretty close to this. Yeah, May 11th. We'll be able to do that before this happens. So, that'll be just fine. Gosh, we have another election event. God's will. Simon Sitterstrom of the Church of Sweden has been preaching in favor of Høyre, convinced that their victory has been foreseen in God's plans. Do you think that God would not have a plan for our pious nation? Of course there is a plan. There must always be a plan. I've seen it myself, let me tell you, and I've seen it as clear as I see you all right now, just before my eyes. And who else is to lead this adrift government other than those who can clearly read that plan? Who are we to stand against God's will? That makes the Church of Sweden stronger. Such a shame the nation is not ruled by God, then. That makes this Church of Sweden weaker. Or surely God wants the patriotic party to win. I'm going to go with this one. Simon Sitterström, again, is the head of the Church of Sweden, and I think it's just fine if he's not as strong as before. In the hands of the state. Oh yes, we've seen this one before. Death of a martyr. Only God and the Warden know for sure. I'm also going to delay on this one, because this might not matter one iota. No, I'm going to not game it too much. I'm going to get this one. It's going to give us 10% more, but this is going to go down by 10% at the next tick, assuming this doesn't finish and obviate the revolution completely. So we'll put that back up to speed 3. This will be done very soon. And we'll be able to see... Oh, gosh. We're having so many events, friends. Just an overwhelming abundance of events. The levies. Nils de Niergaard made overtures to the rural folk for the electoral support for the Høyre. Matthias Almqvist has at last acknowledged the talks. Appeals for natural allies make for a gamble on long odds. Receptive ears to natural allies are often already of the like mind. Those who aren't of like mind would politely continue on their own way. Impolitely they may laugh, scoff, or if they're truly devious, turn the gambler into their own useful idiot. Oh my gosh, radicalism dipped. That's wild. So, old minds think alike, extra momentum to Høyre. Grass tends as it grows, as it pleases. Extra political strength for aristocrats and farmers. Don't like that. They should beware Matthias Almqvist's shrewdness. Extra momentum for the Agrarian Party. Well, I suspect I'm going to like the Agrarian Party. So, let's go ahead and do that. Alright, come on, Universal Suffrage, let's do it. Make it happen. Yes! Alright, so the good old days. We'll pop that back down. Oh, significantly reduces the momentum of the Høyre. Alright. So, yes, these two parties have split up. I'm going to go ahead... think about putting Nils de Niergaard in charge of the Church of Sweden, but I don't think I'm going to do that. Just go ahead and unpause this. And we've completed the path to liberalism. That's a big event. Oh, and we've unlocked civilizing mission. There's so much going on here, friends. But we did it. We successfully enacted universal suffrage. The intelligentsia, under the leadership of Blostrup Jensen, has ushered in an era of liberal politics that promises a freer society where all civil citizens... My goodness. Victoria 3, you need to calm it down. You need to relax. It's fine, it's fine. I'm joking around. New chemical bleaching method for glassworks. We'll deal with that in a second. You will... where all citizens have a part in the political process. You will find many ideologues who claim to represent the will of the people, but who silence its voice when it cries out in opposition to their policies. Not we. We will remove the people's shackles, one by one, until they are freed from the yoke of the past. Only then can we see what the will of the people truly is, and let it shape the future. Jensen is a fearless visionary. That makes him stronger. And the intelligentsia, by contrast. Other political leaders will be wise to follow this trail. Lars Johan Hierta will change to radical. Oh, that's really interesting. Perhaps a voice of reason is needed. Before this gets too radical, Lars Johan Hierta will change to reformer. Oh my goodness, this is a big event. This is a big question. Okay. If I pop him over to radical, that will actually be really, really good for us. Because that'll lock the industrialists into our current agenda, as opposed to turning him into a reformer, which just means he'll support the rights of women and children's rights. Yeah, we're doing it. Without the word and the ideal. Those who seek to think boldly and freely are increasingly finding Scandinavia to be one of the safest places to explore their ideas. Have you read the filth laid out in this supposed poem about the Scandinavian emperor? Outrageous. Outrageous. Written by one of his countrymen, too. Can you imagine? I got a copy for myself. Someone needs to keep an eye on these literary libertines. The Scandinavian government certainly isn't. And our two options here are a utopia for the modern artist, which gives us Arts Academy throughput, or a place where research is unimpeded by tradition, which gives us university throughput. I'm going to go with the universities because I really do like having a lot of university throughput. So I'm going to unpause this here. Are you kidding me? Oh, golly. We're just going to get to this election, and then we're going to deal with the rise of radicalism. I actually think we're going to finish this immediately, because... So, Agrarian Party gets 10.5 million votes, Labor Party 6.5 million, Venstre 3 million, Patriotic Party 2.3 million, Høyre 10 million, Freeminded Venstre a lot less. We have the Radical People's Party now, so let's see what our options are. This is a very, very legitimate government. With that having been said, we can pull the trade unions in and have an even more legitimate government. The industrialists want in as well, though. So that will completely goof up our plan. Alright, well, let's form a government of the rural folk and the trade unions. I think that will be just fine. Hold on. If I just do the intelligentsia and the industrialists... No, it'll be an illegitimate government. That's never going to function together. Well, that's not what I wanted, but... It is what it is, I guess. Cool. A government by the people, for the people. We have a lot to do. I no longer need to suppress the industrialists. So we'll go ahead and stop that. Suppressing the landowners is still a good thing. I'm going to keep that in play, although they're very weak now. Now they don't hardly have any votes. We'll talk about the law situation later. We're a little short on bureaucracy, so I'm going to queue up a government administration at the bottom here just to make sure that we have all that going where it needs to go. I'll go ahead and put that in Scania. I'm going to need to check my overall distribution of urbanization in a little bit. But we'll leave that for now. Get that unpaused. And now we get the rise of radicalism. Under the leadership of Lars Johan Hierta, the radical movement is becoming very widespread in Scandinavia. Whether we support or oppose them, this heralds a time of great change and reaction. The people of the Scandinavian nation have the right to rule themselves, free from the clutches of kings and aristocrats, who hoard hereditary power. We have made our demands clear. They will be met, or we shall take to the streets. We will win our freedom with the blood of martyrs if we have to. We can support the conservative establishment, or we can support the radical movement. I'm going to support the radical movement. I think that's very good. So now we have a movement to enact a presidential republic. That is almost assuredly going to lead to a civil war if we do it. But I can exile you. You're 71. This movement is not very strong. I'm going to leave this for now. If Magnus Brahe, the leader of the armed forces, gets out, that'll mean that Knut Nordstrom is the person we want ruling the armed forces, or Arne von Fersen. This guy's Baltic HQ, this guy's Baltic HQ. They're both pretty good. You're a surveyor and an offensive planner. You're also bigoted and cautious. You're cautious, but you're some other not so great traits. So what we're going to do, our highest level general is level 3. So Knut Nordstrom, you're getting a huge, completely unjustified promotion. We're politicizing the armed forces, friends. This will put him on board with this whole situation, and then when with the going to a republic, and then when the armed forces are led by a republican, we'll all be able to switch that over. So in order to win this event, we need to have not monarchy, and then we need to have someone radical in the government, which will not be a problem. No, we don't need to have someone radical in the government. No, we do. We need to have universal suffrage or census suffrage, and we need to not have monarchy, and we need to have a radical in the government. I think that'll be fine. I think that'll be very achievable. For the moment, though, let's work on getting our production methods reworked. Putting more dyes in and more porcelain out. What's our porcelain market look like? It's not great. I think we could do just fine without having increased porcelain. With paper, though, dyes are very expensive. I can't really get any dyes from anywhere else right now. But part of that's I'm in a bureaucracy shortage due to all the finagling I've been doing with bureaucracy. So for the moment, I think I'm going to leave that for now. We just got a new glassworks built, and there's 2 more in construction. So I'm just going to leave that for a moment and let that kind of percolate. I'm going to get... How many bureaucracy do we get? We get 65 for each of these. I'm going to go ahead and build 1 more. We'll put that in Svealand. And then, I'm trying to do this pronunciation better. I looked up a thing, a little pronunciation guide, just like an audio one. We're still doing good for steel. It's really glass that's our hard, that we're rough on. So I'm gonna keep building up our glass capacity because I want to keep us building up our steel frame construction, because steel frame construction is so important to keeping our economy building at the rate a modern economy builds. In fact, I'm going to put these steel mills down here. I think we're pretty okay on steel, but glass is still rough. We had a significant drop in radicals due to everything just kind of due to finally getting the votes together. So as you can see, as I predicted, the Agrarian Party and the Labor Party have grown much stronger, and in particular, the parties that are primarily built out of capitalists and engineers and aristocrats have grown a lot weaker. This is a decaying opinion penalty, and I think we're going to let all of this decay before we go to a presidential republic. Hopefully by then we'll have had our power shift in the armed forces, and that will let us just do everything we want to do. It has been a very eventful 2 years, friends. I have to say, getting our bureaucracy situation better. I'm going to try pulling the trigger on some of these paper mills, getting this better method. Because I think this will be... this will ultimately make everything I need to do as the government easier. Oh, actually, we have quite an excess of paper. That's really interesting. I had no idea. I really thought the paper situation was rough, but apparently not. I guess, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that. That's curious. That's quite curious. But it does appear that we're continuing to be able to bring in more paper. So I think we'll also, or more dyes, rather. So I think we'll also put some of our glassworks on the new method. And that'll allow us to output a little bit more porcelain, and that will help the porcelain market in our market, which is already doing. It's already much better. We're going to basically be reliant on foreign markets for dyes the whole game because we're not going to be doing any colonizing. I do not wish to become a colonial power in this run. I'm really going to try to not do that because I think it's kind of against our whole sort of no aggression situation. Am I rivaling you too, Netherlands? I guess I am. Alright, I'll stop improving relations with my rivals. That seems silly. Everyone's doing well overall in terms of relations. I think I might be able to get more paper mill output. Although again, debatable if I need it. If I try to go to Presidential Republic now, the armed forces will be very upset, and the Church of Sweden and the landowners will both rebel. But, again, I think if I just chill, let it be for a bit, build up all the stuff I need to build up, and help our economy get situated, I think we'll be in a really good spot. Let's get a little bit more steel frame construction going. Again, our real kind of bottleneck on this is glass. We're building up a lot of glassworks to service the new production method. Currently, we're working on mutual funds. I think after that, we'll get back into production technologies. I want dynamite. Dynamite's going to be really important. And then over time, I think as the 60s get going, we'll work on setting the stage for getting our automation production methods going. But with that having been said, it's been a very eventful 2 years. I've had fun. I hope you all have had fun. And I'll see you all on the other side.